Hello everybody, my name is Umpimete, also known as Re. I'm a math and science tutor. I tutor students and learners face to face, even online. If you're very far, we can work on WhatsApp. I'm based in Brett, but I also go to Rustenburg sometimes. But if you're very far, like I said, we can work on WhatsApp. So today I'll do for lessons. If you need lessons or you want us to work, I will put more info on the description below. So we'll start with question 1. Question 1 says solve for x. Okay, we are solving for x right now. That's question 1. So we have 1.1.1. you see. So 1.1.1 says it's a trinomial. X squared minus x minus 20 is equals to 0. Remember, a trinomial have 3 terms. A binomial have 2 terms. Bi means 3. Bi means 2. Tri means 3, right? Okay, so here we are given a trinomial. We have to look for the value of x. Some learners, when they get a trinomial like this, that is equals to 0, they quickly use a quadratic formula. Okay, so but you can factorize it by just looking at the factors for 20. Factors for 20 will have 1, so it will be 1 and 20, and we'll have 2 and 10. 3, it is not a factor of 20. 4, yes, 4 and 5. Then I'll have 10, so they will repeat themselves. So I'll stop here. So we have factors of 20 now, which is 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20, right? It's like this if you're away. 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20, you see. So now we are happy. We got our factors. Now we'll say, okay, now we'll focus on the middle term. Our middle term, when it is x, is the same as 1. Remember here it will be like negative 1x. It's the same as negative 1x, right? So we'll say, okay, which number can I add or subtract to get 1? I'll say, okay, if I say 1 plus 20, plus or minus 20, if I add them, I will get 21. But if I subtract them, I'll get 19. But I'm looking for 1. So that's not what I'm looking for. You see. So we are looking for 1, remember. So okay, I will use the second one. I will say 10, 2 and 10. So if I take 10, then I add 2. 10 plus 2 is 12. 10 minus 2 is 8. And I'm looking for 1, remember. So that's not what I'm looking for, right? So the first 2 didn't work. So the last one should work. So let's see if they will work. 4 and 5. If I add them, I will get 9. If I subtract 4, 5 minus 4, I will get 1. So this is what I'm looking for, you see. So I will use these values, 4 and 5, you see. So remember here I was showing you steps. You should not write this on your answer sheet. So we'll say, okay, now we'll have to open two brackets, because remember it's x squared. So which means here we should write x, right? So after x, I'll say, okay, My values is 4 and 5, so I'll write 4 and 5. Even if you can start with 5, like 5 and 4, it's still fine. As long your values are correct and the signs are correct, because they all matter. If your value is right but your sign is wrong, your answer will be wrong. Okay? Remember, this is equals to 0. So, but now we are looking for the sign. So we say the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. Middle term there, it's negative. Can you see it's negative x? So it's negative. So between 5 and 4, which one is the bigger number? It's 5, right? Which means for 5 we'll have negative. You see? So to get the sign of another bracket, we'll say, okay, now I teach you a new thing before I answer that one. A positive multiplied by a positive, it's positive. A negative multiplied by a negative is positive. A positive multiplied by a negative, it's negative. And a negative multiplied by a positive is negative. Same size, same sign, they are positive. Different sign. Remember, when I say different sign, they are different. You see, it's positive and negative, negative and positive. Different sign, they lead to negative. So, which means here I have negative. And now I should look for the last term. Our last term was negative, which means here I can't put another negative, because if I put another negative, it will be wrong, because there it is not positive 20, it is negative 20, which means here it will be plus. You see? So here I was showing you steps, here I was showing you steps. I was explaining about signs, and it is very, very important. So let me write my answer orally here. It's x plus 4 and x minus 5 is equals to 0. You see? So now I have two brackets. Now I'll have to say x plus 4 is equals to 0. My first bracket is equals to 0. So when I take 4 to the opposite side, it will change the sign. So it will be 0 minus 4. Therefore, x is negative 4. You see? So I have to also find to use another bracket. So when I take 5 to the opposite side, it will change the sign. So it will be 0 plus 5. And 0 plus 5 is positive 5. So this is our values for this question. But you have to test them. Remember, our answer is negative 4 or x is equals to 5. Okay, so let's do this. Remember our question now. Now I'm doing the checking. I said x is equals to negative 4. So every time when you substitute, put it in a bracket, even on your calculator. So you'll have to open brackets. Remember, we have brackets here. And when you press a negative, press this button. Don't press subtraction. Okay. So we will have negative 4 square minus negative 4 minus 20. You see it's 0. Now I will edit and write 5 there because my other x value is 5, right? So let's see, it's also 0. So our values are correct. We just leave it there, you see. So you get your marks. You get your marks. 3 marks. 3 free marks, guys. If you are struggling with this, I hope after my explanation, you can now do it. It's possible. Math is not difficult. It is just challenging. Okay, so let's move. Let's move. So we'll do 1.2 right now. So 1.1.2. 1.1.2. It says 3x squared minus 2x minus 6 is equals to 0. And in brackets they say correct to 2 decimal places. So once they give you a trinomial like this and they say you should correct it to 2 decimal places, which means you should round it off to 2 decimal places. So in this case, this shows us that our answer will be in decimals. So when our answer is in decimal, which means we should use a quadratic sequence, because to get the factors of that trinomial, it will be a little bit tricky. So we have to use a quadratic formula so that we can get our values and round it off to 2 decimal places. So remember our formula. It's x is equals to minus b plus or minus, don't forget plus or minus, b square minus 4ac all over 2a. You see? So when you can look at our trinomial here, this is our a, this is our b, and this is our c. You see, I don't exclude negatives. You should not exclude negatives. Remember, when we say our trinomial is in standard form, we say it's like this. When we say it is in standard form, like this, you see. So our value of a is 3, our value of b is negative 2, and our value of c is negative 6. So we'll have to substitute it. So here I was showing you should not write this on your answer sheet. So now we'll say, remember it's negative b. So don't forget this negative. You write negative and open the brackets and check the value of b. The value of b is negative 2. Then you substitute negative 2 plus or minus. Then we know our b it's negative 2. Don't forget square minus 4. What is the value of our a? It's 3. What is the value of our c? It's negative 6. All over 2. What is the value of a? It's 3. Then after this step, you take your calculator and substitute. Actually, write it the way as it is. We have negative 2 here, and we'll have plus square root. Now I will have to say our b is this, square minus 3 negative 6, and our value is, you see. Now like I will have to round it off to two decimal places. So let me shift my camera here because the space was full. Okay, so we got our value here, which is x is equals to 1 comma, so we round it off to two decimal places. So our third digit is 6, so it's bigger than 5, so which means it will be 1,79, 1,79, or x is equals to, so yeah, remember it was plus or minus, so I have to edit here and put minus, so it will be, remember for decimals, when it gives you this kind of an answer, you should press here. Then we have -1. So my third digit is 9, so which means it will be -1,12. You see, so we rounded it off to two decimal places like they said. Then you get your marks, which is 4 marks. So yes, we are done with 1.1.2. Let's move. So we'll do 1.1.3. 1.1.3, it says x minus 1 to the exponent 2 is greater than 9. You see, so that's inequality. That's inequality. You did inequality since grade 10 or 11, but before grade 12 you did inequality. So here we have x minus 1 square, so we'll have to open two brackets and say 1 minus minus and this, you see. So after here I shall break the bracket, so I'll say x multiplied by x is x squared, x multiplied by -1 is -x, -1 multiplied by x is -x, -1 multiplied by -1 is +1, because I said a negative multiplied by negative is positive, remember. So it's greater than 9, you see. So these two are like terms. This is not x minus x, it's negative x minus x. So for you to be sure, you should press -1 minus 1 to see. You see it's -2. So, but remember here it's x, so we'll have x squared minus 2x plus 1 is greater than or greater than 9. You see, now I'll have to take 9 to the opposite side. So it will be x squared minus 2x plus 1 minus 9, because here it is positive, so when you jump to the opposite side it will change the sign. So here we'll have negative x squared minus 2x, 1 minus 9 is -8, greater than or is equals to 0. You see, now I have to factorize this one. Now it's a trinomial, you see. Now I will look for the factors. So factors of 8, I can see 1 multiplied by 8, 2 multiplied by 4, then 4 multiplied by 2. So they will repeat themselves. So let me end here. Once they repeat themselves, stop. You see, so I'll say, okay, if I take 1 and 8, if I add them, I will get 9, you see. But if I say 8 minus 1, I will get 7. Remember, in this case, I'm looking for 2. I shall get 2. So this is not what I'm looking for, you see. So I'll use the second values 2 and 4. If I add them, I get 6. If I subtract them, I get 2. So this is what I'm looking for. So I'll use 2 and 4. You get it? So we'll say, okay, remember that it was x squared, right? So I'll open two brackets. Here, guys, I was showing you steps. So you should not write that on your answer sheet. So my values are there. It's 2 and 4, right? So I'll say 2 and 4. You see? At this point, remember now, I'm looking for critical values. So here I can write it as is equals to. You see? So I said the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. Middle term, it's negative. You see? And between 2 and 4, which one is big? 4 is big. So which means 4 will have a negative value. So, and my last term is negative. And remember, a negative times a negative is positive, which means here it should be different signs to get negative. You see? Now I have two brackets. Now I can say, okay, I will equate this one to 0. Okay, let me write it well, guys. So I'll say x plus 2 is equals to 0. You see? After I'll say, okay, I'll take 2 to the opposite side, so it will be 0 minus 2. My x is negative 2. You see? For this side, I will say x minus 4 is equals to 0. Then I take 4 to the opposite side. It will change the sign. It will change from negative to positive. So 0 plus 4 is 4. You see? So I got my critical values. So when it comes to inequality, when we have greater than, when it comes to our values, we should say or. But when it is less than, we should say and. So our values here is negative 2 or our x is negative positive 4. You see? So I have to draw it. I have to represent it graphically. Now I will draw it down. So I'll say, okay, remember when you draw a Cartesian plane, on your x-axis, negative will be the side, positive will be the side. In the middle here, it will be 0. You know, okay? So now we have negative 2, which means it will be here. Positive 4 can't be there, so it will be somewhere here. You see? So when I draw it, it will be something like, you should draw it like this. Yeah, you should draw it like this. My graph is not perfect, guys, like my lines and all, but for you, I hope you'll draw it well because you'll use your pencil. Here I didn't color. I made a mistake. Here I didn't have two colors, so it should be just a circle. Don't color. It should be just a circle, or just make it straight like that. So yeah, but that's inequality, guys. I hope most of you know this type of question and can be able to answer it. But if you don't, this video is for you, guys. This video is for you. So let's do number 4. So number 4 says, okay, let me write it down so that you can all see 1.1.4. okay, so it's 2 and we are given a square root x plus 6 plus 2 is equals to x. The question is still the same. We should solve for x. So first step, when you are given this question, you should take 2 to the opposite side. So we'll say 2 and square root of x plus 6 is equals to x. We take 2, it was positive, which means it will be negative. You see? So that's the first step. Now we have to break the square root because we are looking for the value of x, remember? Now to break the square root, we have to square both sides like this. So this 2 will affect 2. So here we'll have 4x plus 6 is equals to, remember this, we'll have to open it now, you see. So on the left hand side, now the aim is to break the bracket. So 4 multiplied by x is 4x, 4 multiplied by 6, it's 6, 12, 18, 24, right? So it's 24 is equals to, for these two brackets, I'll say x multiplied by x squared, x multiplied by 2x, negative 2x, negative 2x multiplied by x, negative 2x, negative 2x multiplied by negative 2x, positive 4. You see, we are not done. So by now here we can see we have like terms. So here we'll say 4x plus 24 is equals to x squared. So remember here it's not 2x minus 2x, it's negative 2x minus 2x. So you'll say negative 2x, which is negative 4. I'm doing this so that everybody can see where I got negative 4. Okay, so I'll write negative 4x squared plus 4. Okay, now I have to take everything on one side. So whatever I have here, I'll take it to that side. So I'll be left with, I have this on the right hand side. So if I take this to the opposite side, that 4 was positive, so here it will be negative, and that 24 was positive, so here it will be negative. So as soon as they go to the opposite side, we'll be remaining with nothing, so we'll have to write 0, you see. So now we have to collect like terms again. So but for x squared doesn't have a friend, so we'll just write x squared, you see. So but look at this one, we have this like terms, you see. So you will say, okay, now I have negative 4 minus 4, which is negative 8, you see. Now I'll write negative 8x. So here I have 4 and 24. 4 minus 24, you will say 4 minus 24 is equals to negative 20, you see. I do this so that everybody can see where are these values coming from, you see. Okay, now we have a trinomial. We can factorize it now to get the values of x. Now I said when you factorize, you should look for the factors first. So it will be 1 and 20, right? And 2 is also a factor, so 2 go with 10. 3 no, 4 go together with 5. After this one is 10, so they will repeat themselves, so you should stop here. So after I will say, okay, if I say 1 plus or minus 20, if I add them it's 21, if I subtract them it's 19. And remember, now I'm looking for the middle term, which is 8, so they don't give me 8, so that's not what I'm looking for. All right, so I will take the second one, which is 2 and 10. So if I add them, it's 12. If I subtract them, it's 8. And I'm looking for 8. So okay, that's what I'm looking for. We are happy. So we'll use these two values. You see? So okay. Remember here we have x squared. So we will open two brackets. You see? So here I'll have x, here I'll have 2, here I'll have 10. You see, but when it comes to values, you can swap. Here it can be 10, here it can be 2. What's important is the signs. You see, remember this is equal to 0. So I said the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. The middle term is negative, and the bigger number between 2 and 10 is 10, right? So which means here I'll have negative. So our last term is negative 20, you see, and I said a positive multiplied by negative is negative. Different signs, remember? So here we have 2, you see. Now I will have to equate the first bracket to 0 and the second one. So I'll have to say 2 plus x plus 2 is equals to 0. Then I take 2 to the opposite side, it changed the sign. So when I say 0 minus 2, it's negative 2, you see. Then I'll say or x minus 10 is equals to 0. So when I take 10 to the opposite side, it will be plus because it was negative. So my x is 10, you see. So I got my values of x, but I have to test it. I have to test my answer. So I will go back to my question. Remember my x is negative 2 and 10. So I will test with negative 2 first. So remember our question is here, you see. So I will take my calculator here and type that question, which is 2, then I open square root, then I'll say negative 2. Remember I said when you substitute you should put it in bracket. It's safe to put it in brackets to avoid mistakes, you know. So plus 6 then plus 2 should give me negative 2 because of this x, right? So it gives me 6. Wow. Okay, so let's test with 10. Remember another x value is 10. So here you just have to come here into negative 2 and type 10. So it gives me 10. So 10 is the correct answer, but negative 2 is not the correct one. So you'll go back to your answers and say, okay, remember you wrote x is equals to negative 2 or x is equals to 10, right? So this part you'll say, you will scratch it out like this. So this means x is not is equals to 2, but x is equals to 10. You get it? So yeah, usually leave your final answer like this. So let's continue. So the following question is 1.2. Solve simultaneously for x and y. So when you do simultaneous, the first equation that they give you, take it as equation 1. The second equation, take it as equation 2. Okay, so here we have 1.2. So we have x plus y is equals to 2. You see, this is 1.2. Okay, and we have 4x plus y square is equals to 8. Ish. I want everything to be clear, guys. So yeah, this is 8. So I said you take this as equation 1, take this as equation 2. Okay, so I can use my equation 1 to get equation 3. And I would like to say y is equals to 2 minus 4x. But then on my equation 2 I have 4x. So I can make for x the subject of the formula from equation number 1. So I'll say 4x is equals to 2 minus y, which is my equation number 3. You see, at this point, I didn't get my value of x, I didn't get my values of y. I just got my equation 3. So I'll then say substitute 3 into 2. I can't say 1 because I just broke equation 1 and make equation 3, right? So where I see 4x, I'll write 2 minus y. So okay, my equation number 2 is like this. I didn't substitute yet. I'll substitute now. So I see 4x here. So I'll say, okay, here I'll have 2 minus y. You see, it will be 2 minus y plus y square is equals to 8. This one, whether I put it in bracket or not, if it is like that, especially if it's the one that start, like nothing won't change even if I put it in brackets. So when it is like this, now I'll have to take 8 to the opposite side. So if I take 8 to the opposite side, remember it is not in a standard form. So I'll put it in a standard form and say negative y minus y plus 2 minus 8 is equals to 0. You know why? Because remember here y square is positive, so it should be positive. Here negative y, it's negative and it should be negative. Here 2 was positive, so it should be positive. But when 8 go to the left hand side, it should change the sign. You see? Okay, so we'll say x squared minus y squared minus y. 2 minus 8 is negative 6, right? So it's negative 6 is equals to 0. You see? Now I have to factorize it. So I said when you factorize, look for the factors. It will be 1 and 6, 2 and 3, and 3 and 2. So they will repeat themselves. As soon as they repeat themselves, stop there. So I will use this 2. So for 1 and 6, if I add them, it's 7. Remember, I'm looking for 1. The one that will give me 1. When I add them, it's 7. When I say 6 minus 1, it's 5. So that's not what I'm looking for. And we only have these 2, which means the second one should give me what I want. Okay, so it will be 2 and 3. If I add them, I get 5. If I say 3 minus 2, I get 1. So this is what I'm looking for, because I'm looking for 1, but I don't know about signs. Remember, here I'm looking for the values. Okay, so we are moving. So remember, there is y square. So I'll open 2 brackets like this and say y. Then remember, I have 2 and 3. So I'll say 2, 3. No, is equals to 0. So I said the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. And if you can check, our middle term there is negative. You see? So which means 3 will have a negative sign. But on our last term, we have a negative value also. So which means here, if I put another negative, which means I'll be saying that it's positive. So it's negative, which means here it should be positive too. You see? Now I will have to say, okay, I will equate this bracket to 0 and this one to 0 to get my y values. You see? So I'll say y plus 2 is equals to 0. Then y is equals to 0 minus 2. Therefore, my y is equals to negative 2. You see? Or y minus 3 is equals to 0. Then I take 3 to the opposite side, it changes the sign, then y is equals to 3. Then this is my equation number 4. So far I got the values of x and no, I got the values of y. I'll be looking for the values of x. Okay, so I will substitute equation number 4 into, let's check. Okay, previously I substituted into equation number 2. Now I'll have to substitute to equation number 1. You see, so my equation 1 is there. 4x plus y is equals to 2. You see, so that's it. So I'll substitute it into equation number 1. So remember, it's 4x plus y is equals to 2. So where I see y, I will substitute -2. You see, so this sign will change because a negative times positive is negative. So here I will have 4x minus 2 is equals to 2. So if I take 2 to the opposite side, it will change the sign. So it will be 2 plus 2, which is 4. Then I will have 4. Then I will have to divide both sides by 4. Then my x value is 1. You see. So I should not forget the other side. So remember, this one is our equation 1. Okay. Now I will substitute. I will say 4x plus. Now I will have to substitute 3 where I see y. So it will be 3 is equals to 2. So positive and positive multiplied by positive is positive. So we'll have this. So 4x is equals to, when I take 3 to the opposite side, it will change the sign. So it will be -1. So when I divide both sides by 4, my x is negative 1/4. You see. So these are my answers. So my answer is this one and this one. So, but I have to test my answers. You see, I have to test my answers. So firstly, I'll test with equation number 1. So I'll press on my calculator because it's good to check. You can get the values and think your answers are right, you know. So we should check. So equation number 1, it says for our x value is 1 plus our first y value and our first x value. Remember, they give us 2. You see, from the first equation, let's test the same values on the second equation and see if they will give us 8. So I'll say 4. If I substitute x, my x is 1 plus my first y is -2 square. They give me 8, you see. So I'll have to also test with the second values. Okay, so let's test with second values. When I'm talking about second values, I'm talking about these values. These ones are the first values, you see. So okay, I'll have to say, okay, my equation number 1 is 4. What is our x value? -1/4 plus my y value is 3, and they should give me 2. You see, it's 2. So I'll also test with the second equation and see if they will give me 8. So remember, now I'm testing using the second equation. And my y is 3, right? square, they should give me 8. They give me 8, you see. So my answers are correct. So that's how you test it. That's how you test it. You won't take time, just that I show everything step by step. I show everything step by step to make sure that you all understand. And yeah, that's how it is, guys. That's how it is. Simultaneously usually carry a lot of marks. 5, 6, sometimes 4, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 4, 5, 6. So thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so that every time when I upload you will get notification, because I will upload more videos. And like I said at the beginning, I do sessions, so if you really need help on mathematics or science, hit me up. I'll put more info on the description below. Thank you.